What if World War II never ended? That's what we're here to find out today. Now, as we get started in this simulator, you're going to notice right away that the United States has fallen. Their successions have come fast and wild. We have the Commonwealth of New England, the Constitutional States of America, Texas down here, Cascadia. So the United States is not going to be the powerhouse they once were. Now, taking a look at Europe, France exists, but Germany has defeated Poland. Russia is dealing with a little bit of rebellions of their own. So we'll see who wins this and who comes out ahead if this hypothetical scenario had come to be. So let's go ahead and get started. So Germany taking a beating from the Soviet Union, but the Soviet Union is bleeding troops over here. China fighting its war with the Japanese over here. The Japanese have taken a substantial chunk out of China. Russia seems to have handled its rebels for the most part. Who is coming down here? That's the Islamic State of Afghanistan. Now, in the first 50 years, the United States has not been able to slow down their militias, finally taking out the LA-based Union over here. Cascadia pushing into Canada, but looks like they're about to lose that battle. In fact, they do. Oh, and there's a big one. Sweden just ate Germany. That's going to be huge for Sweden. And Spain has conquered Portugal, so reviving their chances of winning this game. Soviet Union now just getting eaten away. Holy cow, here comes Finland on the prowl. Russia is in a bad spot, getting pushed back on all fronts. They were very lucky for that peace treaty. Now, India has succeeded. Oh no, never mind. The Pakistani Communist Party has taken them over, probably with a little bit of help from Mother Russia up there, as now they control most of India. Great Britain has been completely pushed out of there, and the Pakistani Communist Party is doing a lot of work, but here comes the Finns once again, making some hard pushes against those rebels over there, solidifying their borders, and now they are the dominant force over here in Europe. South America looking like they're having a little bit of issues here. The British Commune is getting taken out by Colombia, as well as the Peruvian Republic making some headway against them. So Brazil losing their place in the sun down here in South America. Oh my goodness, Texas making a giant push into the United States. The United States, a shadow of its former self, as the United Eastern States has also pushed in, ironically in the West, to make the United States very weakened themselves. Now, a lot of the United States zones are going to be over here. They have about 38,000 gold, so they're still fine, but they're going to have to make some pushes of their own to reclaim their lost territories. Oh my gosh, Ukraine just completely took out Sweden. Sweden is no longer in this game. It is now only Ukraine. So is Finland. Finland has also fallen. Ukraine, with a strong push, takes out both in one single swoop. Now, the Irani People's State has fallen under the Soviet Union. Soviet Union, even though they've lost Moscow, are still really strong themselves. They have a ton of allies over here in Asia. And speaking of Asia, Japan, they started out strong but are now losing territory. The Free India Movement and the Pakistani Communist Party are fighting against each other, but it does look like this is stalemating up here as Tibet is falling. Back over here in North America, the United States is in a bad way as the United Legionary Militia has really started out strong in eastern Texas and has taken over most of the United States. The United States only has this region right here and the Northeast to call their own. Oh, and here's a big push from Japan. Japan making some real headway against the Soviet Union. Now, the Soviet Union still has about 82,000 gold, so the Japanese aren't going to be able to continue that fight forever. And in fact, they have to stop, but a massive gain from Japan and able to push back the Soviet Union. Gone but not forgotten. Here comes the Eastern Sahara militia pushing back Ukraine all the way out of the Balkans. So the Ukraine's still rather strong themselves, but are going to have to really make some headway and get some strength because they're getting assaulted on all fronts. Imperial Spain is now taking over Great Britain as well. And it made some headway down here into Africa, but unfortunately are being pushed back pretty heavily. Now, Ukraine's victories are short-lived as they're getting attacked by Spain and the Catalonian Soviet Republic. So the Soviets are really running strong with this one, as most of Asia now belongs to the Soviet Union or one of their allies. If we check the alliance map, you can see that the communists are coming in strong. They have great presences on all of the continents right now, minus North America, which the United Legionary Militia has been able to hold them back. But here comes France. France mostly kicked out of Europe, but have basically conquered almost all of Africa. So that will keep them in contention, at least for a little bit. And they're able to take some big swipes. So it looks like France abandoned their home in Europe, took Africa. Ukraine took most of Europe. The Soviets control the rest of the world. The United States is held up by the United Legionary Militia. Canada still exists, but the United Eastern States in the West have made a giant presence for themselves, and United States holding down a little bit of the Northeast, as well as, no, this is the true Marxist Alaskan Republic, so even more communists coming in. Communists, communists, communists everywhere. My God, who was that? The Eastern Levantine State? Are they also a communist? No, they are not. But they took out Ukraine, so Ukraine is out of this. But here comes France, gone but not forgotten. They're still here in Europe, making some headway, but now losing ground. This is going to end in a stalemate. France in an awkward spot, though. Lots of enemies on their borders, making very little headway. And the Peruvian Republic just absolutely owning the Brazilian commune. Brazil still there, but for how much longer? As Argentina and Peru keep eating away at them. Oh, and I thought this was France. No, this is Argentina coming from the south. The north is France, but the south is Argentina. Argentina really making some headway, putting some big pushes against France. Now, who is this over here? That's also the French Republic. Oh, they own Australia. Australia has fallen. The French, just, you know, the migratory people of France saying goodbye Europe and hello everywhere besides Europe. Now, keep an eye on the Soviet Union. They have about 200,000 in the bank, which is more than anyone else on the table. If we take a moment to look at how we're doing, the Soviet Union is in first place, followed by the French Republic, and then the Canadian Federation, and then Argentina pulling out in 4, and then we wrap up the top 5 with the East Levantine States, which basically is Europe at this point. So we'll continue on this game, see how these big boys fight each other. Oh my gosh, and here comes a big push from the Soviet Union, eliminating Yemen. So now they have a strong presence in the Arabian Peninsula, as well as a little bit in Africa. But that solves one problem and creates 2 more, as now they have to fight the French Republic and Argentina at the same time. Oh, and a big push from the Soviet Union into the East Levantine States. Levantine able to hold the line, but how much longer is that going to last, as Soviet Union is just accumulating so much wealth, and France is giving another punch into the Levantines, taking away a little bit of their territory as well. Hopping back over here into the United States, Canada really putting some pressure on the United Eastern States. That's a tongue twister. And the United Legionary Militia, but the United States still in this game. They have Alaska, so they're not quite out of it yet. In the year 2500, we have the Soviet Union far away ahead in first place. Anytime that they make a move, though, they're being countered immediately by France, Argentina, and the Levantine States. So a lot of stalemates happening there. The French Republic holding on to second place. You can see that they're this darker blue color, so they own a little bit of Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom, Northern Africa, as well as Southeast Asia and Australia. The Canadian Federation wrap up third place. They are really becoming the powerhouse in North America. The United Legionary Militia has been knocked all the way back into Louisiana. The United Eastern States has been getting 1-2 punch by the United States and the Canadian Federation. In fourth place is Argentina, which has been making some headway against Brazilian Commune, as well as trying to knock down the Soviet Union, but the Soviet Union is very strong at this point. The Brazilian Commune, followed by the Peruvian Republic, United States, United Eastern States. The Japanese Empire have been very humbled by the Soviet Union themselves. Netherlands still exists, so is the Liberian People's Republic, and a few more down the list. So we'll continue on this one, but we have reached a little bit of a stalemate as France and the Soviet Union cannot seem to get upper hand on each other. Now, a quick gold check. France is far and away the richest with 387,000, followed by the Soviet Union at 140. The British Commune wrap up the top 3 with only 16,000. So if France or the Soviet Union find another target besides themselves, they could really do some damage into another one of these countries. Oh, and this looks like the fall of the Brazilian Commune as France and Argentina really pushed into them. The Peruvian Republic was also there. The Brazilian Commune, even though they're in third place, don't have a lot of money to spend. And looks like there was a puppet state formed. No, the Soviet Union was getting a little bit of land. Hold on, Argentina? No, they're not aligned with the Soviet Union. Okay, how did they get that land down there? But now the Soviet Union's entered the fight. Brazil's in a rough spot over here, as they're getting now attacked by the Soviet Union, as well as Argentina and France. Argentina has been conceding a lot of land to the Soviet Union, probably to keep them at peace, which is very much diminishing their strength, as they only have this little bit down here, as well as their Africa holdings. And this looks like a big war between the Soviet Union, Argentina, and France. Doesn't move the needle at all. We're seeing a lot of these types of wars as we've really reached a stalemate. It's going to take somebody breaking through. Now, France and Canada have been mostly peaceful, but Canada does not have a lot of gold. If France put a heavy push into Canada, they could really make some damage over there. France finally making some headway against the Soviet Union, and the Levantine states have ceded all this land up north to France. So the Soviet Union no longer has an attack possibility with here. And there goes more land to France. So the Levantine states really getting bullied around by France, giving away all of their land without a fight to France. But that kind of works out for the Levantine state, as now they don't have to worry about the Soviet Union, who would overpower them in terms of gold. And Argentina falling apart, ceding more and more land to Russia, means that they are basically out of this game, as it looks like it's going to be Canada, France, and Soviet Union. As you can see, more and more land being ceded to the Soviet Union. Argentina just trying to stay in this, but their overlords, the Soviet Union, are just taking more and more land away from them. Oh, and Canada was ceded into France. That is going to be huge for them. If we take a look at our statistics, that puts France ahead of the Soviet Union. Now, Argentina, a former shadow of themselves, have been limited to South America. They've given away all their holdings to the Soviet Union. Japan as well has fallen. They've been ceding a lot of their land to the Soviet Union. So really devolving into a two-horse race here. As we take a look at gold, France has got 500,000 compared to the Soviet Union's 28,000. That could be some big headway for France if they are able to commit to a war right here, right now. Now, they are fighting. We'll see how long they're willing to fight for, because the French Republic can starve out the Soviet Union of their troops. But they're not doing it yet. They need to push right here, right now. And there goes Argentina, fully ceded into the Soviet Union. So the Soviet Union taking away their only way they're gaining land. They won't be able to cede any more land from anyone, as Japan and Argentina are both off the board. So now it is the French Republic versus the Soviet Union. East Levantine states still exist, as well as, if we check America, the United States still exists. So is the United Eastern States. That's only because France is allowing them to exist at this point, though. And the year 3298, France has wiped the board clean of the Soviet Union. They actually annexed them, which was really surprising. They've also been annexing the East Levantine state over here. So it looks like France is by far and away going to win this one, as they have 70,000 gold and 90,000 area. So they're by far and away going to be our champions here. We'll wait for them to clear the rest of the board, as it looks like France actually puppets every single nation that remains. So France, by far and away, your victor here on this one. The nomadic French people leaving Europe altogether, going in Africa, moving down to Australia and Southeast Asia, and then also moving all the way over here into South America, was their strength, as Europe was a battle zone. They said they wanted none of that. Annexed Canada, fought their way into the Soviet Union until they capitulated and joined Canada. And that is your victory for today. The French Republic destroying everybody. But that will do it for today. If you enjoy Age of Conflict, make sure to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. And if you have a scenario you'd like me to check out next, make sure to put that in the comments down below. But for right now, boys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.